Hey guys, thank you for joining us. We're Fit and Fermented, and I'm sorry we don't have a beer to cheers to like we usually do, but we're already sneaking in some videos into this gym that will remain nameless. We didn't want to sneak in beers too, but excuse us if we're looking down on our phones. It's just kind of helping us with some key notes for this video, which is 10 minutes of fit training basics. We talked about calorie basics in our last fit video. Now we want to give you some training basics, kind of some easy steps you can follow if you're just getting started in the gym, or maybe you just need to kind of get back to basics of things, which tends to work throughout your whole fitness journey.
Alrighty, with the first one, it's going to be goals. Well, that means if you're going to train for an athletic event, for just to look better, just to look healthy, to lose weight, to gain weight, and to play sports. So a lot of the trainings are going to be revolved around what you want to do. You know, like if you're going to be playing a sport like football or baseball or something, it's going to be a whole different workout than what bodybuilders usually do to look good and to look good on stage. So that's going to have to be your main goal. So it's like, yeah, you got to set that up before anything, before you start any type of program.
So like Juan said, just figure out why you're getting into training in the first place. It's a good time to maybe recap on what your motivation is. Whether you have motivation or not, I'll be honest, most of the days I have a hard time finding motivation. And I kind of just force myself to do this a lot of the times. But you know what? If it's something that you want bad enough, which you know, we don't want a shitty physique. We want to be able to earn those brews that we showcase. Sometimes you gotta buckle up and do some shit you don't want to do. And then once you're in the gist of it, you have fun doing it anyways, most of the time. So our next topic that we would suggest you start with is to factor in your food and food timing, which obviously your calories and macros, which we talked about, mostly calories in the last video. It's important to factor those things into your training regimen, whatever the goal may be. Because if you want to have energy, if you're doing it for an athletic event, if you want to diet down to lose some pounds, if you want to gain weight, the workouts that you're going to do based for that goal is going to not happen or not be useful if you're not getting the food that you need. You can't be coming in here and training your ass off and then going home and overeating. You're not going to lose that weight if that was the goal. If your goal was a performance-based sport, football, whatever event it may be, if you're not eating enough for that, you're not going to perform your best.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least for me, I'm like a big person that likes to train on carbs. So if I don't do anything, if I don't get a workout or anything on carbs, usually my workout kind of
Suffers a little bit.
Yeah, it suffers a little bit. But like Thomas, he could lift in no carbs. Especially people like on keto. You know, people on keto are basically lifting without carbs in their system, so or with the minimum.
Right.
So, but yeah, I like lifting with carbs. So that's how I usually try to set up my meal around the carb meal before I work out. Unless I have to do something else like lose weight.
Yeah, it comes back to that goal, you know, and eat for it with your training.
The next step we would recommend is, and I feel like it's one of the most important ones because there's no consistency, you're not really going to see any improvement. Consistency plays a big part. And you see a lot of people not hit their goals, especially here coming around New Year's. You know, it's like people give up within a couple of weeks, months, because they don't see the goal. They don't see any changes in their bodies, and then they stop going. So it's like, but it's all consistency. You know, as long as you keep going, just get yourself to the gym and get some type of movement in, and eventually after a couple of weeks, months, you'll get into a routine. It turns into a routine and eventually a lifestyle, and you'll see some improvements, and you'll start seeing your body change after a couple of weeks if you're doing it right with the food and the proper routines.
Absolutely. And you know, be realistic with how many times you're going to come into the gym, or how many times you're going to go train with whatever your goal may be at whatever facility it may be, or outside, marathon run, whatever it may be. Be realistic with yourself when it comes to planning how consistent you're going to be. You know, a lot of mistake I think a lot of beginners make, and I've made before too, is thinking you're going to train 7 days out of the week. But realistically, with real world shit, you may only be able to make 3. And then you kind of get into this pattern of letting yourself down, which was completely unnecessary. You know, plan on that 3 first, get that done, feel accomplished, and then if you want to add more later once you're in the routine, that's a good time to do it.
Well, another big thing that I notice is that usually gets people away from their routine as they go to the gym, and right away they start comparing themselves to other people who've been there have been going there consistently. A lot of people just lose their motivation because of that, and it's, dude, as long as you get good form, you'll start seeing improvement, and it's all going to take just consistency, like we're saying. You have to keep going. You're not going to go in there and start benching 315 right off the bat. So it's like
everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, so you gotta start with lightweight, good form.
So our next topic that we want to touch on is planning your routine based off your goals, and that includes, you know, what type of training you can do when you're in the facility or outside, wherever it may be. It also includes, well, where you're going to go. That's a big thing you want to plan ahead. Is what gym are you going to go to? Do they have what you need to get your goals within the gym done? Not all facilities are the same. We recommend doing some research. Which ones have what you need? Which ones budget-wise fit your budget? Just, you know, kind of plan ahead where you're going to go, and feel free to check out other places too. But you may want to pick a spot that's going to be easy to get to. It's going to help your consistency out.
For the most part, though, if you want to get a decent workout, you could get the basics with like a dumbbell and like a barbell. So it's
you do all kinds of shit. So man, if you really want to.
Yeah. So sometimes you don't even need this big gym that has everything on it, you know, because you just don't really need it. Sometimes you just need to get a workout in, and with dumbbells and a barbell. Sometimes that's all you need, a run down gym or whatever. Right. Just get in there and freaking just work out. That's all. At the end of the point, that's all it really takes.
When you're making that plan for yourself, you know, do some research. Because here's the thing, not every training program looks the same. So when you're building this program, you know, do some research what other athletes may do in whatever realm that you're training in. And it's kind of a trial and error thing. See what kind of program you think is going to fit best. Going back to number 1, what those goals are, and try them out. Another thing I want to just quickly add is, you know, there's a lot of advanced athletes that can come in and kind of wing it and just go with things and go with the flow, which by all means, they've kind of earned the right to do that, and it works. But I would definitely say, as a beginner, you almost want to have a written plan, or maybe even a log if you need to, just to make sure you're adding with that other goal we mentioned with consistency.
Our next recommendation is stretching. And one thing that I noticed actually at gyms is a lot of people they don't stretch wrong, but they're doing the wrong type of stretching when they first start working out, or before their workout they use the static stretching. When it's the dynamic stretching, you'll see it a lot in sports where it's like basically as a team they'll basically stretch while doing like lunges. That's their type of stretching. You know, they'll be walking down the field while stretching. It's basically a constant movement while stretching, and that's before the workout. So it's like almost just kind of getting a stretch while you move.
Juan actually is the one that taught me that when he had his college football experience. It really puts you at danger if you're doing a lot of stretching and holding prior to strenuous exercise. That dynamic is the way to go prior. Do your other stretching afterwards. I remember I was told one time, do some static holding stretching. Static is the holding, right? Static stretching holding when you're sick, when you have a temperature, running a high fever, and you'll notice how much more flexible you are. That's because your body is warm. If If you go into a workout and you think that stretching is warming up, bullshit. You're trying to stretch a cold rubber band there. And we don't recommend that for sure. I'm glad we're talking that shit.
That's why I recommend hot yoga. You guys are
hot yoga.
Yeah, hot yoga people.
We'll get some footage of Juan doing some hot yoga. So that leads right into recovery. Now, recovery is a controversial subject. You're going to see a lot of different research when you do. They keep saying you should do on recovery. The general rule of thumb you'll find is that 48-hour period of rest per muscle body parts. So you figure whatever strenuous activity you were doing, the muscles that you worked, you probably want to give it at least 48 hours. But the controversy there is you have people that work things way more frequently or preach working them way less frequently, given a whole week. But again, that's one of those things you're going to have to try on your own. Trial and error, see what's best. My personal recommendation would say minimum 48 hours rest of whatever body parts you worked in that program that you're doing. Give it a couple of days, come back, work that shit again. Because frequency is also very important. It comes right back to consistency. Whatever the goal may be, as Juan mentioned, how important consistency is. That is frequency. You got to come back, do this again. The shit adds up over years. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So recover the minimum you need. Get right back to it, and that's what's gonna help you build up your physique, whatever you want the hell your physique to do.
Injuries too.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Injuries.
Injury prevention is key to longevity, and recovering is very key to that. So thank you. Yeah, thank you again for joining us. We are ready for some beers, and we just got done training ourselves. So we appreciate you joining us, and stay tuned for our upcoming episode, 10 Minutes of Fermented. We're actually doing a beer haul, guys. It's going to be a good fucking time. We're going to go check out some local liquor stores, see what they have to offer. It's going to be a blast. So, cheers. Sorry we're not here. Let's do an awkward bro fist bump. How's the audio with the?
It's good.
With the acoustics?
It's good, man.
Does it sound weird?
Sounds good.
Do I sound like an opera singer or something?
Yeah.
Do re mi fa sol la ti do. I don't even know if that's it actually. Check this out. Look at this. Get a close up on this shit.